Denver Nuggets taking on the New York Knicks tonight in Denver. But Michael Porter Jr. has been making quite the ascension since the All-Star break. The Nuggets are winning. They're 12-2 since coming back from the All-Star break since February 22nd, and they're looking like the most dangerous team in the NBA. Let's wrap up some thoughts around that Timberwolves game. What was so important about it, and what momentum are they building for the rest of the season? This is your boy Swiper. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? This is Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. So glad that y'all are here in the house with us today. Thank y'all so much for being here. One of the best communities in all of sports. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. Y'all, let's talk some basketball. The Denver Nuggets are cooking. The Denver Nuggets are winning. The Denver Nuggets are taking care of business, even when things don't seem like they're going exactly according to plan. The Nuggets have shown that they've been able to get the job done. And this has been really good for developing momentum for the rest of the season. We're in a really interesting time of the year where teams are really trying to gear up for the playoffs, maintain health for the playoffs, and also to make sure they're playing their best basketball at this point in time in the season. And so what's happening is the Nuggets are playing really well. They're playing together. They have bought in to their identity. They're playing responsibly. They're not turning the ball over a lot. The fast break points are all there. The Nuggets have been cooking, taking care of business. And what I loved about that Minnesota Timberwolves game is that the Nuggets were playing versus a division rival. They're playing versus a division rival. And I think sometimes people, including myself, can forget that. And I think, when people look at the score and they say 115 to 112, the thing about that is that the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are not afraid of the Nuggets because they play in the same division. Tim Connolly constructed that roster. Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Karl Anthony Towns, they've been playing versus the Nuggets for years. Then Ant Edwards been playing versus the Nuggets now for 4 years. So that's a team with a lot of familiarity, a lot of cohesion. And I think the thing is that the Nuggets, too, it's hard for teams to get fully up for a team they know that doesn't have all of their top guys in the rotation. If you remember the Boston Celtics game versus the LA Lakers that they lost in Boston, it was Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell that took down the Boston Celtics. If you remember some of these games where the Detroit Pistons beat the OKC Thunder this year with no Cade Cunningham. Again, another example of a team that played below expectation versus a team that was severely hampered. And also, even if they were healthy, they're just not as good. But that's the NBA. The Charlotte Hornets can push the LA Lakers. The Washington Wizards can push the LA Lakers. That's the NBA. And what I do love is that even with all that, the Nuggets don't allow for trends to continue the entire game. Whether it's Toronto and they're down by 15 points, whether it's the Mavericks, they're down by 13 points, and then whether it's the Timberwolves, they get down 4 points with Luke Garza's three-pointers being made. A lot of this is they just know how to respond. They know how to respond, they know how to take care of business, and they know how to lean into their best skill set and to their assets, and they find their identity. And what I love about this is the Denver Nuggets with Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, they just clamped the door shut. And Jokic comes back in the game with about 7.5 minutes left, and it looks like this is going to be possibly an embarrassing loss for the Nuggets. Like, they just, after they got up 18 points or whatever, they kind of just let go of the rope and figured, okay, well, we don't really have to bring a lot of energy for the rest of this game. The Timberwolves were surely going to back down, and they said, no, we're absolutely not going to do that. We're going to show up. We're going to play hard, and we're going to try to win this game. And through 3 quarters, Anthony Edwards, y'all, incredible game. Through 3 quarters, Anthony Edwards, 30 points, was balling. was balling and super efficiently. He was hitting his pull-up threes. He was getting to the rim. Anthony Edwards was just 1 or 2 from the free throw line too. So a real ethical game from Anthony Edwards, who 38-8. And what I love about Ant is kind of an old school player. He's extremely athletic, very strong, very quick, but he's also just very tenacious. He doesn't run from the moment. He doesn't hide from the moment. And Anthony Edwards in that third quarter, I posted a video on my Twitter. You can go look at it, but he was getting guarded like a superstar. At one point in time, he was playing so well that the Nuggets, they were guarding him at the nail. He was basically right above the free throw line. Jamal Murray was 1v1 with him on back-to-back possessions. And on the second one, you saw all 5 of the Denver Nuggets had at least 1 foot inside of the paint because they were just not going to let Anthony Edwards get to the rim and beat them. And he made 2 mid-range jump shots back-to-back, and he didn't score in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets changed up their coverage. They started blitzing him. They got the ball out of his hands, and Jaden McDaniel and Mike Conley were just absolutely clutch down the stretch of this game. And the Nuggets, though, Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic went 7 of 7 in the fourth quarter, y'all. 7 of 7. And then on 3 straight possessions, Michael Porter Jr., who we're going to spend the entire second segment on today, Michael Porter Jr. got into a situation where he got off a DHO step back 3 on Luka Garza. He got a really nice back cut off Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Jokic had a one-on-one opportunity at the top of the key versus Luka Garza, and MPJ tried to give him the opportunity to ISO, but he didn't want to do that. And so Porter, reading the situation correctly, did a nice back cut, little Reggie White swim move off Nickeil, gets the ball, and again, Jaden McDaniels is sitting right at the rim, and he dunks on Jaden McDaniel and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I think the other player might have been Anthony Edwards as well that was trying to contest it. And then the next possession, he gets a stop on Anthony Edwards, gets the ball in transition, passes it up to Justin Holiday, looks back behind him to see if he has anybody trailing him for defensive purposes, realizes there's not, gets the ball back from Justin Holiday, gets the ball, sweep on the move, step back, mid-range shot, net. And on 3 straight possessions, Porter scored 7 points, and the Denver Nuggets went up by 3. And it was just an absolutely incredible run. And if y'all remember in game 4, remember the Nuggets were down 12 with like maybe 2 minutes left, if I remember correctly. And Porter did the same thing last year. It was Jokic and it was Porter that got them back in the game. And they win the game if Jokic makes a free throw. And that game does not go into overtime. And so Porter, man, and Jokic, they just have this really, really, really elite chemistry where they're kind of just in lockstep with each other, and they're just able to play off of each other so well. And what I love is that Jokic is so encouraging of Porter. If you look on the season right now, Jokic and Porter have played 66 games together so far this year. 66 games together this year. Did you know that Jokic and Porter have a 121.7 offensive rating this year and a 111.5 defensive rating? Jokic and Porter, they're a plus 10.2 net rating. They are a plus 10.2 net rating on the season. They are shooting, between the two of them, they're shooting a 60.8% true shooting. They have a 53% rebound percentage, which makes sense given how big they are. And then a 22% or 2.70 assist to turnover ratio, meaning they're getting 2.7 assists to every turnover. They're shooting well. The playmaking is there. The efficiency is there. And they're very good defensively and offensively together. And I think, again, if you look at Porter's numbers next to all the starters is really good. Porter and KCP are a plus 10.7. Porter and Aaron Gordon are a plus 8.4. And we're going to see a lot more of that stagger lineup come playoff time. And then you get Porter and Jamal Murray. They're a plus 10.0 with a 122.1 offensive rating and a 61% true shooting between the two of them. And again, Jokic and Porter, by the way, a 75.6% defensive rebound percentage, which is just, that's asinine. That's just absolutely asinine. And what I love about it is that they're just figuring out their cohesion, and down the stretch of that game, when they needed to get a bucket, man, both of those players just were elite level pull-up shooters, elite level spot-up shooters. And I think Porter and Jokic being able to share that chemistry together, it's just really important for what the Denver Nuggets are wanting to do for the rest of the season. And then also going into the playoffs. They just have a really, really great chemistry. Up next on Locked On Nuggets, we're going to talk about Michael Porter since the All-Star break, because there's some numbers I want to tap into that are really telling the story of how much he has been percolating this season and how important he is going to be to the Nuggets winning yet another NBA title. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. You're the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further. Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue is perfect for city drives and great escapes. Class exclusive, Google built in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. Gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect mid-size crossover for your next adventure. Now, the 2024 Nissan Armada will change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Now, picture this, a rugged 4x4 that can seat up to 8 in first-class luxury and style. Tow bigger and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Now, take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or the Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Go shop NissanUSA.com. And y'all, shout out to FanDuel. Shout out to FanDuel. Y'all, say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You could even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. We'll be right back here, Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, welcome back to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Shout out to y'all. Do me a favor. Make sure if you're listening to this on Apple iTunes, please go ahead. Give us a like. Give us a 5-star review. That way more people can tap into the great content that we're doing. And then on top of this, if you're on the YouTube side right now, if you're listening to this, please like the video. So that way people can get exposed to some of the great content you're getting at the Locked On Network, the Locked On Denver Nuggets Network, especially with myself, Adam Ades, and Matt Moore. Now, y'all, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. If you know me, if you've known me, and if you're just getting introduced to me, I've always been an MPJ guy. Michael Porter Jr. is one of the most special players the Nuggets have had in their franchise. He was a #1 overall recruit coming out of school. He was one of the best players to get it done. He was one of my top 5 high school players I had ever seen up to that point. Michael Porter Jr. went to Missouri, was supposed to be a top 3 pick in the draft. Obviously, everybody knows the back injuries, the 3 back surgeries later. This is where he is. Thank you so much, Tony, for sharing the video as well. And everybody in here, Tony, Rob, Ben, John, everybody that's in the chat. Thank y'all, every single one of y'all. Michael Porter Jr., y'all, did you know that since February 22nd, Michael Porter Jr. has played in 14 games for the Denver Nuggets, which is all of the games? Did you know that Michael Porter Jr., since February 22nd, in those 14 games, when the Denver Nuggets are 12-2, did you know he's averaging 20.4 points per game, 7.3 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists per game, 0.8 steals per game, 0.6 blocks per game, with just 1.2 turnovers per game? Did you also know that Michael Porter Jr., since that point, he is shooting 54.8% from the field? 54.8% from the field, which means he's shooting 67% 46.3% from two. From two. From two. From two. This is insane. This is insane. So when he gets the ball inside of the three-point line, he's making 2/3 of his shots. And then on top of that, he's shooting from the three-point line. 43.6% from three on 7.2 attempts per game. And 92% from the free throw line. So basically, when Porter gets the ball, he has been a dynamite scorer, a dynamite finisher. Michael Porter Jr. in the 14 games since the All-Star break has a 67.9% true shooting, you all. What are we doing? What are we doing? The Denver Nuggets have a third option in Michael Porter Jr. that's averaging 27 and 2 on modern NBA splits, 66% from two, 43.6% from three on volume, and then on 68% true shooting as a primary jump shooter. That's incredible. That's incredible, y'all. And so I think he doesn't get enough credit for being able to oscillate his game, for being able to go from a lower usage player, an off-ball, non-primary threat, to then being able to lift his game up to a point where he is one of the two best offensive engines on the court when needed and when asked. Y'all, to have a 6'10" dynamite shooter who's elite around the rim, who's elite from mid-range and elite from the three-point line, to ask that player to be as unselfish as he's been, which he has been, to invest on defense, which he has, to be a great weak side rim protector for the Nuggets in their scheme, which he has, and to do that while knowing he is not going to have the ball more than Murray and more than Jokic. That is special. And I hope that this stretch is just reminding people that when the Nuggets need Porter, he's been excellent. And y'all, don't get it wrong. The big three, the big four, they've all been good. Nikola Jokic since the All-Star break, 25.8 points per game, 13.1 rebounds, 9 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.9 blocks. He's shooting 60% from the field, 36% from three, and 88% from the free throw line. So he's been playing at the MVP level that we all expect and being massively efficient with it as well. Jamal Murray, if you look at his overall numbers since he came back from the All-Star game, he's played 13 games over this stretch. He's averaging 22.1, 7.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 1.4 steals, 0.5 blocks, 49.6% from the field, 44.6% from three, and 85.7% from the free throw line. The big three is cooking. The big three is cooking. They are playing well. And I think, again, it starts with Joker, obviously. Obviously, it starts with your best player. But I think the credit needs to be given to Porter for being able to come into the game like he did versus the Wolves. When you know that everybody's kind of down and out right now, you need a shot because Jokic can't do everything by himself, and he just absolutely cooks. And y'all, shout out to Aaron Gordon since the All-Star break as well. He's averaging 14, 6, and 4, 1 steal, less than a block. He's shooting 61.4% from the field himself. Now just 16.7% from three. He's shooting 70% from the line, which is an uptick. And he's a plus 120. And he has a 65 true shooting. So again, your big four has a 59 true shooting in Jamal Murray, and that's understandable because he's anchoring that second unit. Porter has a 68% true shooting. Jokic has a 66.6 with 67% true shooting. Aaron Gordon has a 65 true shooting. So that's your four. Those are your four biggest contracts, and they are fully locked in with each other. So that's why the Nuggets are so dangerous. That's why the team is so dangerous. That's why when people talk about the Nuggets, they're talking about them collectively. Because if Porter is playing like this, and I can't guarantee he'll do this in the playoffs, obviously, because that's asking a lot of a third option. But if you're getting series from Porter, series where he's giving you 20 and 7 on this kind of efficiency, we're not talking about like just a tight series and the Nuggets win in 6 or 5. Like when Porter is playing like this puts so much pressure on the opposition, because not only do they have to keep up on the scoring margins on the other end, but then on top of that, they also defensively cannot over focus their defense to Jokic and Murray. Because now you're like tilting the defense away from one of the absolute best shooters in the NBA. One of the absolute best shooters in the NBA. And also who's not afraid to get to the rim, not afraid to get to the rack. Porter, y'all remember that Mavs game just 2 games ago? He gets the ball off the pass, beats his man off the dribble, drives it home with the left hand to finish over Derek Lively. Last year, he had one of those dunks versus Zach Collins as well. So we're just having Porter is just such a important player because he elevates the ceiling of this team in ways that nobody else can, that no one else can. Because again, Jokic and Murray, they have to be great. They need to be great for the Denver Nuggets to win a championship. Jokic obviously has to be the best player on the planet. That's not a question. Jamal Murray, you see when Jamal Murray is averaging 32, 5, and 5 on 50, 40, 90, it's a sweep in the Western Conference Finals. When Jamal Murray averages 27 and 7 in the first round versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're out of there in 5. And Jamal Murray's going to have a very important job to do this year because he's going to be playing versus the Phoenix Suns in the first round, maybe the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round, maybe the Golden State Warriors in the first round, maybe the Dallas Mavericks in the first round, maybe. And then he's going to have to play versus the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Los Angeles Clippers or the New Orleans Pelicans. And they're all going to have one of them games. And Ben, you're absolutely right. And Rob beat me to it. Yeah, he had 5 threes in that game and was 10 of 10, had 25 points and 10 rebounds, the first of his kind. Remember the Michael Porter Jr. game just not too long ago. He had 25 points and 10 rebounds off 5 of 5 from 3 and 10 of 10 from the field. Never been done before. And that's like I think the math, if I remember correctly, the math on it was like 107% true shooting. Because you can go over on true shooting just on the value of the shot alone. So I just think that they're growing in their appreciation for Porter. I think that Porter continues to get the love he deserves. And I think they're cognizant of how important he is to this team. But again, if he takes his game to this level, which he has, and in the playoffs, if they get a version of this, if they're getting this kind of scoring, because remember in the playoffs, in the finals, and again, people, kind of got on him about it. It's really hard to shoot well in the finals because you got to understand, you made it through 4 rounds. Like you're getting to 4 rounds by that point. It's really hard to be efficient in the NBA finals. Jokic did it. Murray didn't do it. Porter didn't do it. I think Gordon did it, but just different shot profiles. But if you're getting this from Michael Porter, man, it just changes the equation on the Denver Nuggets, man. So I'm really proud of him. Again, 68 true shooting, 27 and 2 on 66 from 2, 43.5% from 3, and then 92% from the line. It just changes the story on the Denver Nuggets. But on the other side, we're going to talk about this game versus the New York Knicks, some of the implications for this game, and what could we expect to see happen from the Denver Nuggets tonight. We'll talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. This show is also brought to you by BetterHelp. And BetterHelp, y'all, when you're in a situation in life where you're dealing with a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions, it's really important. It's really important that you get the help that you need and that you're able to find resources that can help you to be the very best version of yourself, especially with all the things that are happening in life. There's just too much going on. I think for me, trying to have to deal with all the stuff that's happening in the world, pay bills and everything else, it's really important that you get stuff off of your chest. And whether it's big or small, Certain things in life can really start to get to you, and it's important to let that out, especially to someone who's unbiased in your life. So I think for me, it's just continuing to find ways to balance, all the stuff with what I'm doing for work. I have a career outside of this. I have family. I got responsibilities. And similar to you all, you got a lot of things that you're doing. And so I think it's really important for you to take the time for yourself to focus. And therapy can be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems than our favorite sports teams, and it's important to get things off your chest every once in a while. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, we are back here for Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Thank y'all so much for being here today and celebrating all the great basketball that we have been seeing. Yo, we're in a position right now, man, where the Denver Nuggets, they got a nice opportunity in front of them. They're playing the New York Knicks tonight. And Julius Randle and OG Anunoby are out. Julius Randle and OG Anunoby are out. Mitchell Robinson, obviously, is also out as well. But the reason they're a tough assignment, the Denver Nuggets are a -9.5 tonight. They're a -9.5 tonight. So the under for the game is going to be over 208 points. Right now, a lot of the bets are going to be on the under, just because apparently people are expecting this to be a low-scoring game. The line opened today at 9, and then it's moved to 9.5. So there could potentially be some other things on the way for the New York Knicks if they're going to have another player out tonight. But ultimately, y'all, this is going to be a good game, man. I really like what the Knicks have done. I really like what the Knicks have done. They have really just been able to find a way to develop talent really well, to acquire talent, and everybody is just playing really solid, man. And they got a lot of guys. The Knicks have a lot of guys. They have a lot of guys that believe in what they're supposed to be doing. They're responsible to their job and to their assignment. And y'all, Jalen Brunson's incredible. He's an incredible player. He's extremely smart. He's extremely tough. He's a very good shot maker, and he is a dog on defense, meaning he's a bully. He's not a good defender, but he tries. He gives effort, and that's really important when you have a lead guard that has as much responsibility as he does. It's going to be an exciting game. Jalen Brunson's a special player. They're going to have McBride coming off the bench. He's a really talented young guard, looks really good this year. But Dante DiVincenzo has all of a sudden become one of the best volume three-point shooters in the league. That year in Golden State really helped him, but his confidence is booming. The Villanova brothers, Josh Hart, playing really well this year. Josh Hart, I believe, played 48 minutes in the last game that the Knicks just played. Let me check this again. I don't want to not speak facts. Let me check this again. Josh Hart played 48 minutes, had 10, 11, and 11 versus the Golden State Warriors. Now, he was 5 of 18 from the field nonetheless, but he was still really good. McBride started this last game for them, named Miles McBride. He had 29 points on 9 of 13 from the field. Jalen Brunson had 34 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds on 12 of 25. He was a plus 13 in his minutes. Dante DiVincenzo, 4 of 8 from 3, 18 points, and he was a plus 5. And Isaiah Hartenstein, as many Denver Nugget fans remember, Isaiah Hartenstein, the best backup center in the league, or at the time the Nuggets had, maybe the Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins was also good for the Nuggets too. But Isaiah was not yet the player that he is now, but he's been really good. 13, 10, and 4, 6 and 7 from the field, and he's going to battle Nikola Jokic. And off the bench, they're bringing Precious Achiuwa, they're bringing Bojan, Alex Burks, and Jericho Sims. That's going to be their rotation today. But the thing is, Isaiah Hartenstein, 25 minutes, Dante, 31 minutes, Jalen, 35 minutes, McBride, 47, and Josh Hart, 48. So they're going to play their guys a lot of minutes. So tonight, the Denver Nuggets should be fully healthy. Zeke Naji might be back tonight. Jokic, Murray, Porter, Gordon, KCB, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Reggie Jackson, they will all be in the lineup. So prediction for this game, I'm saying lower pace game today, 107 to 99 for the Denver Nuggets. 107 to 99 for the Denver Nuggets. They get a win. They improve their record to 48 and 21 on the year. They tie back at the top of the Western Conference with the OKC Thunder. They put further distance between them and the Timberwolves, and they're making a run for the rest of the year for that number 1 seed. 107-99. I got the Denver Nuggets, y'all. Let me know who y'all think wins this game in the comment section. You all make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let the people know where you like getting your favorite Denver Nuggets content. Y'all know what time it is. This your boy Swiper. I'll see y'all on the other side.